everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing welded differentials. My name is Randy Famoso. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're returning, thanks for being here. Let's get into the video. So first and foremost, I'd like to explain my experience with welded differentials. I have been driving on welded differentials for about 7 years now. My current car, the 370Z, has a welded differential and it's the only car I own. So yes, it's my daily. A lot of videos have been made where people talk about their dailies having a welded diff, but in reality it's their track car that they trailer back and forth to the track, so it's not their actual daily. This is my only car, so it is my daily. I drive it to the track and back, and I drive it everywhere that I have to go. So now that I've explained my experience with welded differentials, let me talk to you about the science behind it. Here's a car and a simple drivetrain. Here's the front wheels turning to the right, the drive shaft, the differential, the axles, and then the part that makes contact to the ground. The wheels and tires. Let's say that this car just wants to go in a complete circle. When turning, the inside circle would be a lot smaller than the outside circle. That means that when you are turning, the differential in a stock car will let these wheels spin at different times when facing any pressure. That means the differential is not locked, so the car just does what it needs to do naturally. A car with a limited slip differential opens up the differential at this time, so it functions as an open differential. That's why they call it a limited slip differential, because it limits how much it slips. But one of the times when it slips is when you put a lot of pressure on it, especially when you're not on the gas. Because when you are on the gas, a decent LSD will always lock. There's many different types of LSDs which we'll discuss later. But for now, let's continue discussing the diagram. Let's say that this is a welded differential. A welded differential makes it so that the differential is always locked, meaning that this wheel and this wheel will spin at the exact same speed and rate all the time. That means that if you're driving in a circle, like I've drawn out in this example, both wheels will have to spin at the same time, which will result in wheels making a chirping sound, which I'll let you hear now. Now that I've explained what a welded differential does, let me explain why people want it. So in a rear-wheel drive application, someone might want a welded differential because they want to drift. There's a lot of differentials that you could use for drifting, but the best one on a low budget is a welded differential. If you're running a ton of power or have a lot of money and want to buy a two-way LSD, those are really cool. I've got to drive on some and I'm sure I'm going to own many of them in the future. But right now I want to keep my budget low. Welded differential is my favorite option. So people could use it for drifting. They could use it for doing burnouts. Because both wheels spin, you'll have no more one tire fire like the open diff would create, or an issue where one wheel spins more than the other, which a bad differential would create, most likely a VLSD. Because a VLSD uses diff fluid to lock, and whenever the diff fluid is hot, it no longer locks that great. Which is why a locked diff, or a welded diff, is good for doing burnouts. Once again, depending on how much power you have, you may want to consider getting a higher performance diff rather than just welding it. Anything after like 500 horsepower, you probably do want to just buy a more expensive proper differential, like a 1.5 way or a 2-way LSD. Another reason why somebody might want it on a rear-wheel drive car is to do donuts. Yes, I've literally met people that weld the diff on their cars just to do donuts. So some people do it just to do donuts because the open diff can't do them and the LSD might do them poorly. One of the last reasons that I could think of right now for rear-wheel drive was for drag racing, because you could launch a car better when both wheels are spinning at the same time. This also applies to front-wheel drive, and so does burnouts. Now let's talk about four-wheel drive. Until a few years ago, I didn't know that welded diffs were also popular for four-wheel drive vehicles. It came as a shock to me, but quickly it made sense. The reason why four-wheel drive vehicle owners weld their differentials is for off-roading. When off-roading a four-wheel drive, you want your four tires to spin at the same time, so you can have maximum traction and climb up obstacles. Most factory four-wheel drive vehicles do not have a high-performing differential, so some of their wheels might not spin at the same time as others, which causes the cars to have trouble when climbing up challenging obstacles such as rocks or the sides of hills or mountains. This covers a brief overview of why people would want it for each application. I will now discuss why some people think twice about welding their differentials. One reason is that tires finish faster. When spinning the wheels at the exact same time and you hear them chirping like I've already showed you, they're leaving rubber on the ground and it'll make your tires finish faster. Another reason why somebody may think twice about a welded differential is that you may have less traction while on the street. That means that if you take a fast turn, your car might want to understeer or oversteer, which can be very dangerous. Understeer means that your steering tires have turned and your car is not turning. Your tires are turned to the side, to whatever side you want to go to, but your car is still going straight and your front tires are skidding. That means that you're very likely going to hit something in front of you. You never want to be understeering. That's very dangerous. Oversteer means that you turn your vehicle and the rear end continues to turn further out. Some people do this on purpose to drift, because in drifting, you make the car oversteer and then you countersteer the wheels and you control it with your throttle so that you can take whatever line you want sideways. I have a lesson on drifting. I encourage you to check that video out if you are interested in learning how to drift. Let's continue on this list. You can have less traction in the rain. When you're driving in the rain and you have a welded differential, it's very likely that you'll spin your rear tires very often. This could happen in straightaways if it's wet enough. It could happen if you're on a road that's concave, which makes the weight all want to go to one side. Or it could also happen when taking a turn and giving it too much gas, which in this case would only take very little gas. The reason why somebody may not want a welded diff in the street is that you can have less traction on the street or in the rain, which can cause an accident. I know I don't have to mention it, but I will. You'll have almost no traction in the snow. I know most rear-wheel drive vehicles already don't have much traction in the snow, but this puts it on another level. Your car will want to get sideways in a very dangerous, uncontrollable manner. I've drifted a lot in the snow, and yeah, it's been fun, but I've had so many close calls. It's so much more likely that you'll get in an accident if you do that. So think twice, be smart, and if you have a welded diff, stay out of the snow unless you really trust your skills or you have snow tires or snow chains or something. A lot of people talk about not wanting to have a welded diff because it makes it harder to park. I put a question mark here because I have never had that issue. I've driven a welded diff car thousands of times, and I've parked perfectly every time. It's really not an issue at all. To prove my point, I will insert videos of me parking here. These videos will include pulling into a parking space, pulling out of a parking space, then people talk about it being more difficult in parallel parking, which also couldn't be further from the truth. Maybe you'll have to have a higher level of throttle control, but it really doesn't require that high of a skill, so you really shouldn't consider that as being a negative factor of having a welded diff. Besides parking, some people say that it's very difficult to do sharp turns or U-turns with the welded diff. Well, maybe if you're doing a sharp turn at high speed, you'll be prone to understeer, which is something to definitely consider. So always have grippy tires in the front and drive cautiously around turns. So some people talk about U-turns being difficult. Once again, as long as you have any throttle control at all, doing a U-turn is not hard. It's pretty much the same thing as doing a U-turn without a welded diff. You do feel the wheels locking a little, like you do when turning at all at low speeds with the car. And yeah, it will make chirping sounds, but it's not hard at all. I would guess that anybody that can properly drive a stick shift car can drive a welded diff stick shift car. When talking about the cons, I mostly talked about rear-wheel drive cons because most people that daily drive a welded diff car do it on a rear-wheel drive car. But just in case somebody's watching for four-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, I will touch on these two so that you can be included as well. Luckily, I have driven a locked differential front-wheel drive car, so I know how this feels on the street. When turning, there's a lot of pressure, especially if you have some big, meaty off-road tires. It's fine in low grip situations, but if you have a ton of grip and you're at a low speed, it does feel pretty unpleasant. Also, if you're driving at a high speed and turning, you feel that the wheels do just want to go straight. So if you're turning either way, you feel pressure on all four corners. Overall, I wouldn't really recommend driving a four-wheel drive welded diff car on the street. They make better solutions for this, like electronic lockers and manual lockers, so you could lock it and unlock it as you please. Now let's talk about front-wheel drive. I honestly wouldn't even drive this on the street because with a front-wheel drive, you turn with your front tires and you accelerate with your front tires. So locking that and turning is not a good idea. People usually do this for drag racing. That's its main purpose, and I think it should stay that way. I personally do not recommend that you drive a front-wheel drive car with the welded diff on the street. I forgot to mention this as a con for rear-wheel drive, but this applies to all three, so I'll mention it now. When you have a welded diff, your steering becomes a lot stiffer. Before having a welded diff, I was able to turn my car in either direction, and the steering wheel would stay in that direction until I bring it back. After welding the diff, my steering was stiffer, so when I'd turn into a turn and I'd release the wheel, it would always want to come back to straight. That's only when driving normal, like if I'm drifting or something, I don't have that issue. As a matter of fact, when I'm drifting, it feels amazing. But when driving normal, you will notice that there will be a lot more pressure fighting you in that direction. So let's say you don't want to have a welded diff. What else could you have? Well, you could use diff lockers. Diff lockers could help your open differential become a locked differential and can be inserted or removed at any time. Some diff lockers, like for four-wheel drive, may even be available with an electronic setting, which means that you'd be able to electronically lock your differentials and unlock them. That's the best choice for a four-wheel drive car in my opinion, and if you have the money to do it, I would recommend that solution. A VLSD is another solution. These are generally factory options on vehicles, and they're very bad because the V in VLSD stands for viscous. Viscous means how heavy a liquid is. The reason why they mention this is because the VLSD requires the viscosity of the differential fluid to make the differential lock. If the diff fluid gets hot because of driving, it will make the diff fluid thinner, which would in turn make it not want to lock. That means that your VLSD will pretty much be working as an open diff, which is probably not what you want if you're watching this video. A Torsen LSD is a proper limited slip differential that locks using mechanical pieces, which means that this is an ideal differential for making your diff lock, but it will not lock as hard as a full-on welded diff. So this solution may be good for a street car, and if your car has an option for this and it drives well, I would suggest that you stay with it. And if you want to upgrade to something like this and it's a good price, I would recommend it as well. Now let's talk about a racing LSD. There is 1.5 ways and 2-way LSDs. The 1.5 way is fully locked when you're on the throttle and opens up partially when you're off the gas. Maybe there's some variations to that, but that's more or less the concept behind it. This differential is generally about $1,000 for a lot of vehicles. So if you have the budget for this and want it for a street car, this is better than a Torsen LSD and way better than a VLSD. So if you can afford this and want to put it on your car, I really recommend it, especially if you don't want it to only be a drift car. This differential is ideal for many grip car applications. Then there's a 2-way LSD, which is pretty much just for drifting. It's locked when you're on the gas and locked when you're off the gas, meaning that it could be used for drifting, because when you're drifting, you want to modulate your throttle, and some differentials like the VLSD require you to be full throttle so that they stay locked. So a 2-way will make it so when you're off the gas, it's still locked, which will keep you in your line, which will prevent you from crashing if what you're trying to do with your vehicle is drift. So if you have the budget or you're running high enough horsepower, a proper racing LSD might be the solution for you. Lastly, I felt like I had to mention the open differential. It's not much of a solution to wanting a locked differential, but maybe after watching this video you realize that you don't need this. So maybe an open diff is fine for you. If you just want to cruise around the canyons, have a light track day, and you're not trying to drift or burn out or anything like that, well, maybe an open diff is fine for you, and that's okay. An open diff will make it so that your tires last longer. It'll make it so that your tires aren't tripping everywhere you go, and it'll make you have traction in low grip situations. So maybe that's the right choice for you. If that's so, good for you. Most people use these anyway, so they're proven to be good as long as you don't want to use your car for any high performance or other sport applications. So I hope this video is clear for you guys, and I hope you're able to follow along. If this video helped you out, please drop a like, and if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. If you have any questions, you could go ahead and comment, and I'll get back to you very shortly. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time.